Good morning. For those of you who are interested, the soccer score is 0-0. That's not what I was doing. I was actually tweeting this event for the world to know what's going on here today. What Bob left out of his introduction is that in all of my 3 previous careers, I have been, in one way or another, responsible for government documents. I started in 1965 in the libraries at MIT, and one of my very first jobs was shelving government documents. So my entire career at 3 different institutions, which were partial depositories, not full depositories, I've in one way or another been involved in servicing, shelving, doing something associated with government documents. So it's really a nice opportunity for me to thank all of you for the work that you do every day, and for you to understand how important those documents are once they hit the shelves of the local libraries. Incredibly important work that you do. So I hope you understand from this guy who spent more years than I want to talk about involved with your publications. It's a great honor to be here to celebrate this event. Happy birthday, GPO. 150 years is certainly something to celebrate. And congratulations for reaching this milestone. Congratulations in particular to the employees of GPO, the men and women who do incredible work both in terms of quantity and quality to meet customer needs. This is especially the case with tight turnarounds necessary for the daily publication of the Federal Register and Congressional Record. The National Archives, as Bob mentioned, has a unique relationship with GPO. We are a customer like all federal agencies, but it also counts GPO as an affiliated archives for the purpose of preserving the thousands of government publications available online through GPO Access. This agreement was the first of its kind between the archives and another government agency to specifically address electronic government records. And the GPO and the National Archives have a special partnership relation in publishing the Federal Register. The Federal Register, sometimes described as the federal government's legal newspaper, will celebrate its own 75th anniversary later this year. This partnership is most likely one of the longest running, most successful in U.S. government annals. GPO and the Federal Register have never missed publishing the Federal Register on any day, regardless of rain, shine, snow, floods, electrical emergencies, national attack, in all of those 75 years. That's quite an accomplishment. And since 1934, the number of individual pages of the Federal Register have totaled almost 3 million, and the number of individual pages of the Code of Federal Regulations has totaled more than 4 million pages. To say that another way, between our 2 agencies, over the 75 years of partnership, we've passed back and forth between us more than 7 million pages. That's a pretty strong and enduring partnership. Together, we have successfully done our respective parts to help fulfill the promise of the Constitution for a government that works under the rule of law, assures due process of law, and works best when the public is a full participant. And you should take great pride in what you have made happen. Thank you all. Congratulations.
Now, this past April, David was kind enough to invite me to the National Archives and into the vault where the original bound edition of Joint Resolution 25 resides. David even allowed me to touch it. However, he wouldn't let me borrow it, because it's about 3 inches thick with a number of other congressional actions. But as a result of that visit, David was kind enough and generous enough to provide us with a digital replication of Joint Resolution 25, which is on display right over here. I encourage you at the end of today's event to take a look. Those are actual sizes, and it was handwritten. Thank you, David. I greatly appreciate it. Now, while David tweets, I like to film. And so that day, when we went to the archives, we brought along some of the GPO team to record that day. And so I'd like to share with you a video.
This document, Joint Resolution 25, is the key to the creation of the U.S. Government Printing Office. It's GPO's birth certificate, so to speak. President James Buchanan signed the resolution on June 23, 1860, establishing GPO as the official printer for the federal government. The agency opened its doors for business nearly 9 months later on March 4, 1861. In 2010, public printer Bob Tapella and archivist David Ferriero viewed the resolution for the first time in nearly 150 years inside the vault at the National Archives.
When you look at our humble beginnings back on June 23, 1860, we opened for business on March 4, 1861, the same day Abraham Lincoln was inaugurated as president, and you look at the billion-dollar enterprise that GPO is today, where we're working for all three branches of the government, it sent chills down my spine when you think of our humble beginnings.
The public printer and archivist go through the 7 pages of parchment which detail the duties and responsibilities of the newly created Government Printing Office. Prior to this resolution, Congress used a variety of private printers for congressional printing, and through the years, it was determined the federal government would best be served by creating its own printing office. An office now led by the 25th public printer, who, after reviewing this historic document, is fascinated by something new he learned from it.
I was surprised that it was hand-lettered as opposed to handset type. When I think about the role of the government printing, even before the establishment of the Government Printing Office, you still had a significant amount of handset type. I was just surprised that a scribe wrote the Joint Resolution.
The National Archives and Records Administration is the nation's record keeper. NARA preserves some of the country's most valuable records for the public to reference and learn from, such as the Declaration of Independence, the U.S. Constitution, and joint resolutions such as the one which created GPO.
It is the job of the archives to collect, protect, and encourage the use of our documents, and this is a good example of fulfilling that mission. The very fact that these documents are still alive and still available for future generations is the most exciting part of what my job is here.
The archives are looking at the records of government, that which official action was taken. And to see these documents that, for example, created the United States Government Printing Office is just absolutely incredible.
The archivist presented the public printer a facsimile of this historic piece of GPO history to share with the employees and the public as the agency prepares to celebrate its 150th anniversary. Yes, for 150 years, the men and women of GPO have adapted to the various technologies, enabling them to carry out their historic mission of keeping America informed on the documents of our democracy in both printed and electronic form.